Join us as we step into the Bible verse. Everyone has heard of the famous story of David and Goliath, how the Jewish king to be slayed the giant and went on to do great things for the nation of Israel. But who actually was the monster of a Philistine? Well, first and foremost, Goliath has been solidly labeled as a giant. That detail is the prime description and aspect of his character, and as the Bible describes, giants were Nephilim or offspring of fallen angels who mated with human women. Goliath was of a much later generation of Nephilim, so his unholy DNA had been greatly diluted. He had been born during a time when the amount of giants on earth had greatly diminished, so his presence alone was jarring and pulled the courage out of almost all men who stood before him. He was a natural force on the battlefield, and as such the Philistines would use his genetic stature as an advantage by pitting him up against the hero of other nations in one-on-one combat. Last man standing decided which nation would win the battle, and you can imagine the Philistines didn't lose often with this tactic. And as they faced off against the Israelites in the Valley of Elah, waiting for Israel to present a champion, this tactic seemed to be working again. For 40 days, Goliath paraded between the army's lines challenging Israel before a young David would accept his call to combat. The Titan seemed poised to smash the small boy standing before him. But as the story goes, the giant, despite all of his armor and brutality, is brought down with a stone in the forehead cast from a sling, knocking him out cold. Goliath's massive story ended with the young Israelite he challenged removing his head with his own sword as he lay dazed from the strike. The defeat of Goliath sent the Philistines fleeing with the Israelites in hot bloody pursuit, but the death of Goliath heralded in the new age of destruction for his kind. The story of his final battle would live on in the pages of arguably the greatest book ever written, to both simultaneously teach a moment of history and encourage those who read its words to never let the size of a problem stop you from trying, because with God at your side, the smallest of people can overcome the grandest of obstacles. If you are interested in more details about Goliath, turn your Bible to the book of Samuel.